Mr. Danielson will be filming us today. So thank you for being here, Bruce.
Welcome.
My name is Jeff DeYoung. I guess the reason to address is just kind of a comment. Dealing with some of the people down at City Hall, I hope that they know what they're doing, but I've had a couple of occasions in the past where they'll tell me one thing to start with and then change your mind down the road. I had once, I spent the money to have a detention pond engineered and then brought the plans down there for approval. And I was told, well, we made a mistake. It also needs to be a retention pond. So I spent my money to have an engineer draw up a detention pond. That I threw that money away. Now I've had another occasion where I went down to get a building permit to install some storage units. And I was told, well, to have a drainage study done. So I did that. That got the approval. I went back for a permit. Well, come to find out, oh, we made a mistake. Your land is not platted. The platting was vacated back in 1903. Now, in about 95, I had a permit in there to build a shop. In 2005, I had a building permit to build a double-car garage. And one of the comments they made is, well, since your land is not platted, and we just found that out, if something happens to your buildings now, we probably won't give you a permit to replace them unless you plat your land. Is there any recourse? Because I've got the land, I've got the buildings, I've had permits for the buildings, but now I'm at a point, what am I supposed to do? They changed their mind in there. They don't, you know, they'll tell me one thing once, and the next time around, they're not gonna tell me, they're gonna change your mind. You know, I can take this up to the city, the sidewalk issue along Arrowhead Park too. At one of my meetings, I was told that, okay, as long as you don't have a private access, you don't have to pay for the sidewalk. And I got a letter saying that I have to pay for the sidewalk. Now, where's my recourse here? Are they not telling me the truth down there? Can I believe anything they say? They won't give me statements in writing. Is there any recourse? I don't know the answer to it. You know, is there something else I'm supposed to be doing to keep the city happy to it? You know, they're changing their minds. You know, if they don't know what to tell me the first time, then don't give me an answer until they know the answer. But I just don't quite understand it. I've had issues with this in the past. I've had the same issue again come up now to it. And I'm not sure on the sidewalk issue how you're going to vote later, but this is basically, the question is, why don't they have the right answer to start with? Why did they give me an answer and it's incorrect? I don't like the idea of spending my money and wasting it in there, but you know, if somebody could give me an answer in the future, I'd appreciate it. Or maybe they can just put all their statements down in writing, if that's the answer to it in there. But thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Jeff. Thank you. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Tim Stanga, Sioux Falls. I went to the City Planning Commission meeting the other day, and a lot of things didn't go very right that day. But being able to look back at everything, I talked to Jeff Schmitt, talked to Mike Cooper, talked to some of the city council people on things that should be changed with the Planning Commission. When they run the consent agenda, to be able to come and talk about it, well, I came in the side door and he was sitting in the front, didn't know how things were done, wasn't able to talk on the what I was going to talk on the consent agenda, but it's not put on the screen either. And I'm hoping that we can work together to be able to put something on the screen on the consent agenda to be able to let all the public know what is being passed whether we speak on it or whether anybody comes up and talks about it, to be able to let the public know what is being passed on the consent agenda. Another thing I realized that I had a couple city council members told me to call in and leave a message, or call in to see about what I was talking about on the consent agenda. I left a message, never got a call back. I left another message, didn't get a call back. And then I did come to the meeting. And then Mike did call me back on Thursday with help of some of the city council being able to talk to Mike and get a hold of me. Mike's a great guy, don't get me wrong. But we talked about some issues. People were being told that they normally when things are done, it has a first reading. You can't come and talk on the first reading, but you can talk on the second reading. And that's sort of misleading people because they can come and talk on public input on the 5 minutes. So hopefully we can get that changed. Like I say, not being able to get a phone call back, Mike said that that's not tolerable. He said he would check in and see. He did tell me that I did see you did call a couple times and I didn't get a phone call back. It's just a few things that need to be tweaked, and being able to work with the city council and Mike and everything, hopefully we get it taken care of. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. Welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. I am Jim Mitchell and retired from the Argus Leader. My wife Sharon and I own 2 lots on the corner of East 29th Street North and Wayland in Norton Acres. I come today to discuss the fact that the snow gates were not used on my street after the recent snow last week. We have a double-wide driveway on the north and a single driveway on the west of our property. Immediately after the snow, we took our electric snowblower and cleared off the double driveway. The following evening, I heard the road grader coming down and went out to watch it do its work. I was less than 15 foot from the street. To my surprise, the grader did not have a snow gate on it, and they did not make any attempt to make my driveway easier for me to get onto the street, and left me with a 2-foot-plus window of snow all the way from one side of the other to the other. There was no way I could have driven over the furrow of snow. It was up to us to remove that pile of snow. I am 75 years old and have had multiple back surgeries. My wife is but just a little younger than me and is battling cancer. It took us over an hour working together to get the snow removed so we could get our car out of our driveway. We never did get the other snow taken out of the other driveway, and it remains there even now. After removing that snow, we were sore and crippled up for several days afterwards. My neighbor across the road is 60 and crippled up. He could not even get his car out of the driveway to get food and medicine and had to hire someone to come and clean out his entryway. I called the street department and the lady said that all graders had snow gates and I was wrong. However, I know what they look like and I know how they work, and I know that they are not equipped. This one was not equipped with them. She told me I should call 211 and have a volunteer come and move the snow. My question is this: why did they not have the snow gates on the graders, and will they use them the next time? Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome. Sir, you can come forward. Welcome.
My name is Annette Mahone,
Hi, Annette.
and I bring good news. I am here on behalf of Bob Harris. He is our president for the South Dakota African American History Museum at the Pavilion. We are, I guess I'm here to invite you all to our awards banquet, the Bud Williams Humanitarian Awards Banquet. We had our first one last year and honored Porter Williams. And we call it the Bud Williams Humanitarian Award because he was Mitchell's mayor and paved the way for a lot of businesses and black folks to do that. And so this year we had many nominations, and we have chosen Emma Armstrong, who is over 100 years old. And we're really proud of her, of our nomination and our selective select of her. And our banquet will be this Friday at 5 o'clock, 5 to 7 in the Schulte Room at the Pavilion. And Emma won't be able to be there, of course, because of her age and because of the cold South Dakota winter. And she will be Skyped in. So I invite you all. If you need a ticket, there will be tickets there in the beginning. They're $30. And or Mark Blackburn at Augustana has tickets, and Bob Harris has tickets. Of course, I always have a ticket in my purse for you. So please tell your friends, and please know that you're invited on Friday at 5. Thank you.
And thank you as well. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, council members and mayor, for the opportunity to address you. This is a follow-up to the informational meeting that occurred this afternoon. There were several unanswered questions.
And sir, if you could just give us your name, please.
Sure, Tommy Schmitz.
Thank you, Mr. Schmitz.
You bet. There was a few unanswered questions and some points of clarification that I'd like to make. My background is I've been a member of the Sioux Falls Police Department since 1996. I've been a union steward at the police department since 2007, so for the last decade. I can assure you this has been the most arduous negotiation during my tenure on the executive council. Our entire basis for the negotiations has been recruitment of new officers and retention of existing officers. We've continually put our best foot forward through this process and continue to work towards a successful resolution, even throughout the impasse process. Despite this, the City of Sioux Falls team has been willing to negotiate any further. The points of clarification I'd just like to touch on briefly. The Sioux Falls Police Department authorized strength is 254, not 350 members, as was alluded to earlier. The FOP labor union has 225 members of the 228 that are eligible. That's officers and sergeants. So we have a 98%, 98% membership participation. The City of Sioux Falls final and best contract offer, which was voted down by 95% of our membership. During the negotiation process, there were no demands made by the FOP Labor Council as to how to fund the proposals. That certainly would not be in our area of responsibility, and although we may have made suggestions, there was certainly nothing that would be misconstrued as a demand that was made. For clarification, the COLA that was addressed earlier, or cost of living allowance, that we negotiate is actually a combination of a wage increase to keep us competitive and a cost of living allowance, according to HR Director O'Toole, as opposed to negotiating those items separately. So when we negotiate that, it's referred to in the contract as COLA, but it is a reflection of both cost of living allowance as well as a wage increase. Also, there was some comparisons to similar agencies made earlier, specifically the Minnehaha County Sheriff's Office and the state of South Dakota. I think the people here would agree that those agencies could reasonably articulate an inability to pay argument. So it's kind of comparing apples to oranges. There was also a little bit of confusion on what the base wage was that was referred to earlier. Anything earned above the base wage is for working outside your normal working hours and time away from family, friends, or other commitments. We as the FOP Labor Council are extremely disappointed. We consider this a failure to have gotten to this point with the contract. Certainly the City of Sioux Falls and the City Council should also consider it the same. This contract will have little to no impact on resolving the issues of recruitment and retention, as our current attrition rate of new hires is nearly 40%. We would encourage council members that were frustrated through this process with lack of information to reach out to the Labor Council, and we'll be happy to meet with you and answer any further questions you may have.
Tommy, thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome.
Hello, my name's RJ Burchatz.
Hi, RJ.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
I just have a growing concern for East Bank's safety. I live at the Crane and I work at the Frank for the last year and change. And there's been numerous times I've almost been ran over on A Street, crossing the street at our crosswalk, let alone the numerous crosswalks to the bridge. And I just feel like just little things like a lit up sign or it's the law in the middle of the crosswalk would help, because the lines in that one typical sign hasn't been helping so far. Numerous coworkers, many customers that I've witnessed at East Bank have a growing concern, and yeah.
RJ, great job. RJ, could you, your last name, please?
Burchatz.
Burchatz.
Yep.
Thank you, RJ. Appreciate it. Well, folks, thank you very much. Great input. We appreciate it. I know the council appreciates it as well.
Y'all come back now. Here.
Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.